Hello everybody, it's GirlGotGame, and welcome back to Gilded Shadows. Today we're starting this boyo's sweet ending, and we're starting off actually still in the common route for Endgame. Things are a bit different this time because Morgan has opposite traits. She is now cautious, stubborn, and analytical, and we did not meet this guy in the common route. So, that's apparently very important. That's why her first interaction with Magnus now is a little bit different. So, why did he seem familiar?
Hello, little queen. They tell me your name is Morgan.
Stay away from me!
Sorry. That would be a bit of a problem since I have to talk you into returning to your room.
I struggled to my feet, keeping my back against the wall.
Are you sure you want to do that? You look very much like you're about to pass out.
Who are you?
Oh, I completely forgot. I'm Magnus Ulrich. You might say I'm the leader of Endgame.
Endgame? Wait. I faltered as a vague memory filtered back to me. An alley, a woman in white, a man named Ari.
Remembering now, you chose to come here with our agents.
He was close enough now that I could see his features through the haze. The blonde hair, the smug little smile. He stretched a hand out and I reacted instinctively. No! I pushed off the wall and launched myself at him. He staggered backwards, blocking my arm. I knew there wasn't much strength behind the attack. I just wanted to get past him, get out. I needed to go home. He caught my arm and stepped back.
No, I'm not...
He let out a surprising yell as something rolled away from us. Then he went sprawling, dragging me down with him. Are we back? We are back, okay. And once again, he was familiar. Somehow. I wasn't sure why. Without thinking, I reached to brush some strands of hair away to get a better look at his face. Those beautiful, beautiful eyes. Okay, so I can't be like a mirror? For this option, I want to... Why did I break your glasses? What is this about me breaking your glasses?
Oh, you made a daring escape 3 days into your stay at our facility. I was the unfortunate recipient of a sharp elbow to the skull that knocked me quite out. Almost. Caleb's head was right next to mine, and somehow I'm the one that was hit. To think you'd go straight for the leader of the Esper force instead of his subordinate. Clever of you, even in a fever-induced delirium. Taking out the leader was quite the strategic decision.
Thank you? I just stared at him, both confused and annoyed. He had a frustrating way of delivering information that made it difficult for my foggy mind to keep up with what he was saying. The leader of Endgame?
Magnus Ulrich. I introduced myself before, but it seems like you've forgotten it.
Yeah, I'm the one forgetting this time. Was this before or after I attacked you?
It was after we caught up to you again and safely infiltrated the room in which you'd barricaded yourself.
Was that real? Because he had such a strange way of communicating, I couldn't even tell anymore if that really happened or he was exaggerating. Magnus Ulrich, huh? That would explain why he seemed familiar. I'd seen his image before, just glimpses in newscasts and the like. But it was a little difficult to accept this strange person was Endgame's leader. Alright, and now we're on our bicycle. Suppressing their sigh when they were around me. An alleged queen rank. No, I suppose it's not alleged, is it? Okay. This is probably because she's more analytical this time around. She's, like, thinking about things and asking questions. Have I been mimicking other people's sigh this whole time? Or are you just concerned I'm going to do it and teleport away?
Indeed. There is a concern about your mimicry ability.
Even though I've been unconscious this whole time? Isn't that going a little overboard? I don't even know how to mimic.
For one who doesn't know how to do it, you've proved quite adept at it to this point.
So I haven't been unconscious this whole time?
Not the entirety of it, no. You have been in and out of consciousness during the last 8 days. And when awake, your unconscious use of Psi proved problematic. So, yes, the inhibitors are to mitigate your mimicking ability.
Then doesn't it make more sense to put a Psi inhibitor on me?
Oh, we tried that. But the interesting thing is, they don't seem to work on you.
Is that abnormal?
Quite abnormal.
So, if there's a standing order to suppress Psi in my vicinity, why would you take your Psi inhibitor off?
Your Psi stabilized over 2 days ago already. That's why you decided it wasn't worth it to keep you in the induced coma.
They went so far as to put me in an artificial coma? That sounded serious. I'm getting the feeling I may have caused some trouble while I was recovering.
Oh yes, you have proved quite the troublemaker during your limited time with us, though I expect it means you'll fit into our upper ranks rather well.
The artificial coma was for everyone's safety, including your own. Once we found we couldn't suppress your Psi the normal way, Dr. Sosky hoped the reduced brain activity would have a similar effect. It was only successful to a degree. Your phoric system is highly adaptable, to use his words.
I didn't intend to cause trouble for anyone.
Don't think of it as causing trouble. Think of it as making life interesting for the medical ward.
I suspect they could have done without the damaged equipment and repeated escape attempt.
Repeated? Magnus only mentioned the one.
It was not a one-time occurrence, and said attempts exacerbated your Psi fatigue to dangerous levels. They were quite concerned they might lose.
No. The important thing is you're awake.
They might lose me? Is that what Ari had been about to say? So I nearly died?
Ari, since you were so concerned about it, perhaps you should inform Dr. Sasaki Morgan is awake. I'm sure he could answer more of her questions than we can.
Alright. After a slight pause, Ari gave a curt nod and left the room. That was quite the different, introduction. She had so many more questions, and Ari was able to answer some of them. For being a queen. There's no way I possess the skill or knowledge for a role like that. Much less ability. A strange look passed over Magnus's face as, for a moment, he seemed unsure how to respond.
As a queen rank, you possess more than enough ability for the role by our requirements. Skill and knowledge can be gained.
So rank was all that mattered to them. I guess I should have known that just from the fact they came after me in the first place. Something in my expression must have given away my thoughts about that, because Magnus immediately changed the subject. Okay. I'll leave that alone. Relocation? Are they coming here?
For the time being, no. Even for Endgame, the visa process takes time.
That's true. I never did get to hear from Mom what she thought of our, new boyfriend. Maybe in the sweet ending we'll hear about it. Then why were they relocated?
Well, for their safety.
He seemed hesitant all of a sudden. I'd kept my voice calm, I thought, but something must have given away how tense I was. Are you saying my family was in danger?
That is,
I believe that is quite enough for now. You've answered enough questions.
Hi.
Morgan Leone.
The blonde man at the door, who I took to be a doctor from the way he was dressed, strode across the room in a couple of steps, sparing a quick glance at the status screen next to the bed.
You are exhibiting signs of a stress reaction, including the residual effects of your Psi fatigue.
He leveled a stern look at me.
If your emotional state causes more unconscious Psi use, The painstaking effort I spent to repair the brain damage already done by the overtaxation of your abilities will go to waste.
Okay, I will be quiet then. I think we have a couple of options where it's the same as the ones I did for the best ending. So I'll skip ahead a little bit, and I'll bring you guys in soon. Okay, we have fast-forwarded a little bit, and got some new dialogue changes with our boy Dr. Sasaki. So let's see how Morgan expresses herself this time. It's a bit different.
And how do you feel about your new schedule?
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. He waited for me to continue as I struggled to find the words.
An unusual difficulty in expressing her thoughts.
He tapped a finger to his chin as he murmured the words, then typed something into his display. I let out a soft sigh, both amused and frustrated at his tendency to analyze every single thing I said or did. Occasional difficulty expressing thoughts is not that abnormal, and no, I don't need a medical license to know that. I may not have gone to medical school, but I have over 3 decades worth of human interaction under my belt. I know at least that much. A slight smile tugged at his lips.
Perhaps. However, it is abnormal for you.
Look, I guess I'm just frustrated that it feels like the council found a way to circumvent your initial recommendation that I was to not begin training yet.
Yes, they did find a loophole via technicality. I admit it is, to use your words, frustrating.
I don't mind learning these strategies, and in a way it feels better knowing I'll be learning to control my abilities. But it's annoying that it feels they don't respect me, my health, you.
If you wish to halt this training, I will support the decision. The regression of your recovery is still within acceptable parameters. However, your mental well-being is a strong consideration as well.
No, I'll continue. Dr. Sasaki is so wonderful. I just love this guy. He's like, I will support you. This council of yours is not winning me over with their decisions, though.
That is something we agree on. How are you coping with the physical training?
Is it back? Okay, now we're back. Yeah, I really like our interactions with Sasaki. You were eavesdropping on part of his private conversation with me. It's only fair if he gets to hear part of yours.
Ugh. Is that some twisted form of logic?
I don't know that it's twisted, exactly. Point being, just tell me, please. If it was important enough for you to come tell me in person, I'd rather just hear it now.
You are no fun at all, I swear. But if you insist...
I insist. Where are we now? Okay, we're going back into a couple of choices that are the same, so I will fast forward again a little bit. I actually didn't get very far. I keep forgetting that there's going to be like some slight dialogue changes as I go because Morgan's personality is different. So we're in the elevator with our boy, and she has a different response.
In a way, you symbolize a change happening in our community. A change not everyone is happy about.
I'm not trying to be a symbol of change. I'd be much happier if I could just exist quietly. But I think I lost that chance the moment my rank got out.
A quiet life is not one people like us get to enjoy most of the time.
I didn't realize others were uneasy about fairy espers. I guess I was aware that there were more Esper-related crimes these days.
Probably more than you even hear about. We have almost 700 individuals in our high-security facility. Around 2,000 in a facility for lower-level Espers who are still a threat.
Are we still... yeah, like I don't remember having this conversation.
Various special investigation divisions help us bring in many of the infantry or lesser-ranked individuals. Espers who don't come into Endgame are usually less adept with their Psi, even if they have potential.
I guess without Endgame's training, they don't become as dangerous as they potentially can.
Even so, there are still far too many dangerous individuals out there. When we take care of them, the stories usually do not make the evening news.
I don't like secrets, but in some ways I imagine it's for the best.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. We spent a lot of time deciding who should be shielded from what information. It makes one wonder who gave us the right to decide.
Indeed. It does, doesn't it? I gave him a sidelong look. He really did look into all the details of my family, didn't he? Is it... not yet. Yes, I've been to a lot of places like this. And I suppose I have a healthy appreciation for nature because of my father. But I'm sure it's beautiful even if one's father isn't a botanist. I mean, you like it. And I assume your father isn't a botanist as well. Ha ha ha, yeah, about that.
No, he isn't.
I paused at that catch in his voice. This had happened before, the sudden awkwardness after an offhand remark of mine. Sometimes it felt like I stumbled close to a landmine that didn't go off only because Magnus seemed loath to talk about himself in any real capacity. Yeah, there's a reason. He knew so much about me, and I knew almost nothing about him. It didn't seem fair, but I wasn't sure how to ask about this kind of thing. Alright, we'll skip ahead again a bit. This time we're not knocking. We're gonna wait a little longer. I stepped away from the door, deciding to wait a little longer, but not interrupt the meeting going on inside. Come to think of it, wasn't it odd that Magnus didn't have some kind of assistant to manage his schedule? Given his position, you'd expect it. Then again, given his ability, maybe he rarely needed it. I leaned against the far wall, trying to decide how long I'd wait before either knocking or going back to my room. The voices inside the office rose, or rather, the masculine voice did. Not enough to make out the words. Wonder if Magnus's mother stayed on the council after all the changes last time. There were heavy footsteps towards the door, and for a split second I almost contemplated running. The door opened, a rush of cool air washing over me.
And, Mother, you can feel free to...
He froze when he saw me, the obvious anger on his face melting to surprise as he cut himself off mid-sentence.
Morgan?
Hello. Mother? There was an awkward pause before his expression just switched, like putting a mask on. All emotion washed away to be replaced by the usual smile.
Goodness, what are you doing lurking out in the hallway?
Well, you asked me to come, but didn't say when. This was the first chance I had today.
I asked you... Oh! Yes. You're right, of course. I'd forgotten.
You were in the middle of a meeting, so I didn't want to interrupt. It's quite all right. Our meeting is over. We appear to be at an impasse.
Morgan, this is Charisse Ulrich, a member of our illustrious council. I believe you've been eager to meet with them.
Ah, right. I did try to set up a meeting. It's a pleasure to meet you at last, Miss Leone. I only wish I had the time to speak with you right now. Perhaps another time, though the ranking member of the council is often hesitant to meet with agents. Not all of us share his reluctance. Magnus, I'll return to continue the discussion later. I hope you take my thoughts into consideration. The Moirai continue to have concerns they want you to address.
Be sure to let me know in advance so I can work you in. I'm a very busy man, as you well know.
His voice was hard and cold, despite the smile on his face. Charisse nodded to me and left, seemingly unperturbed by Magnus's attitude. It was obvious they weren't on good terms. We watched her go for a moment before Magnus stepped back and motioned me inside his office. Normally, I'd apologize for having interrupted, but I had a feeling their meeting was over anyway, and that he wouldn't have been upset at being interrupted regardless. Yep. I stepped inside the office, drawn to the window and the view.
I apologize for that. I wasn't expecting you.
You invited me.
Yes. I wrote myself a reminder, but seem to have misplaced it.
You wrote yourself a reminder? I watched as he went to his desk, picking up a handful of items that appeared to have fallen, including several bright squares of paper.
I find it's more helpful than digital reminders. I don't like the notifications going off, and my nano system is pared back enough I don't use it much for that kind of thing.
I see. Not yet. I hesitantly took a chair in front of his desk. You know, I was wondering. I keep hearing mention of this Moirai. I've been wondering who or what they are.
Ah, that. The Moirai are a group of bishops that, among other things, monitor, for lack of better words, the flow of time. They look ahead for potential events that may need our intervention. Like a rogue queen that might inadvertently end up in the hands of unsavory people who want, in fact, to do unsavory things to her.
Okay, there we go. Thank you for this. It means a lot to be able to reach out to them.
Thank you for it, not me.
I will, but thank you for listening to him. Are we? Not yet.
When you have a response, you can return the handheld to my office with it. I'll be waiting with bated breath to see what messages about me you pass along to your family.
He's such a brat. I'll remember that when I write it. Magnus paused, tipping his head to the side before letting out a soft sigh.
It seems I'm needed elsewhere. I'm afraid we'll have to cut our meeting short.
I understand. I thanked him again and left, pausing at the door to glance back at him as he leaned over his desk and scrawled something on one of his colorful notes, only to stick it to the wall beside the desk. I feel that. Alright, we be training. We be investigating. I'd been a little cautious about taking advantage of what I was certain had to be an oversight, given how careful they were being with me. My rank gave me access to otherwise restricted content. And, all things considered, I wasn't sure anyone had intentionally allowed me access to anything restricted. But I noticed right away some of the content was about Endgame itself. History, founding, current structure. It was information relevant to my situation. Information I was entitled to know since they'd forced me to come here anyway. Information that might help me in the long run. So I took a look, even though I felt a little guilty for accessing it at first. Alright, are we... yeah, there we go. Hello, Lethe. I don't think we've met. Not since I've been conscious, anyway. I'm Morgan.
I know who you are.
The terse reply made me hesitate before speaking again. She didn't seem like she'd stopped for a friendly hello. Do I get to learn who you are?
Most here call me Lethe. My sister is on your guard.
I see. Did you need something from me? Perhaps this is more difficult to understand than I realized, but generally people who have only just begun something aren't yet adept at doing it. And I've only just begun Psi training today.
It's disappointing you don't already have better control of it.
It's also disappointing that during my recruitment, I was stressed to the point I did as much damage to myself as I did. I didn't ask to require such a long recovery time, but I'm doing my best to overcome that disappointment.
Are you?
It wasn't surprising they didn't think I was trying hard enough, but annoyance still crept its way into my tone of voice, my posture. I was trying to maintain control, but it wasn't easy. The Council and I had already proved we were going to be at odds with each other, and this was just an extension of that, no doubt. I'm accustomed to putting in my full effort when required, but I'm also not stupid enough to not listen to a physician's orders. Dr. Sosky was the one who wanted me to proceed with caution, and that's what I've done. If you, or the council, thinks I'm just being difficult, perhaps you should speak with them. I mean, with him, not them. Now that we've established that, is there anything else I can do for you? Because I think I'd like to go back to my room. I started to move around her, but she spoke again before I could.
I had a personal question for you.
I stopped to look back at her, trying to decide if I was willing to hear it. She hadn't made the best impression. But in the interest of not picking a fight, I motioned for her to follow me. Let's continue this somewhere else, then. Alright, what am I doing? I'm being flexible again. Okay. Based on how vague you're being, I'm not sure you even know what you need me to be.
I know what we need you to not be.
And what is that? Independent? Because if you need me to become a robot, that won't happen. My experiences don't just go away because I joined this place. Setting aside the escaping issue, my family isn't something I will ever let go of. So you just remember that, girl. Lethe stepped closer, and I took an involuntary step back. She was intimidating anyway, but it didn't help that she was half a head taller than me as well.
The more you cling to who you were, the more it will become a chain that ties you down. And there are people here with the power to break that type of chain. Permanently. You should remember that.
What does that even mean? She moved closer, but I stepped back again, alarmed by the look on her face. And then Magnus saved my butt. Thank you. And thank you, which we did before. So what happened? Didn't like how determined the council was to control me, and then I ended up here for a change. Interesting. That was why I returned to my room, only to leave again a short while later. I would not be confined and looked after like a child. I wouldn't let them view me that way. It might come back to bite me at some point, though. But I deal with that when and if it happened. In the meantime, I was just going to write a response to my mother and not focus on the rest. Though I had to moderate what I said to her. The desire to rant was strong. So she's writing the message out here in the galley instead of in her room. But even if Magnus was helping me circumvent the council's orders, I had a feeling he'd draw the line at me airing Endgame's dirty laundry to a civilian.
There you are! I thought we might find you here.
Oh, is this when you were gonna hold the, welcoming party thing? Interesting. I set aside the half-finished message to my mother when I saw Vaughn coming towards me. Vaughn and the others, actually. Did you and the others just get back?
A while ago. Can we join you?
I nodded, not at all unaware of the stares my table was now getting as she, Caleb, and Ari joined me. The Queen's Guard. All together. Alone, I drew some attention, but people seemed a little hesitant to approach me. With these three, the stares felt more overt, as if people were confirming what they already knew about who I was. I caught Caleb glaring at another nearby table as he sat. They quickly looked away. Is there a problem? How did it go today?
It was fine. We're nothing if not efficient. We found the guy we needed to find and got him back here. He wasn't cooperative, but we have experience dealing with those.
He smirked at me.
As long as they don't knock buildings on our heads. Though we now have experience with that as well.
Don't you agree with this, Ari? Glad I could provide a useful learning experience.
So how was your day? Boring without us, I'm sure.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
We were gone for 5 hours. How did you manage to get into trouble during that amount of time? I
didn't get into trouble. I I guess I did get into a little trouble.
What in the world happened?
Well, I explained what happened when I went to the library and how I'd disappeared from the security system. They were practically getting ready to organize a search party for me. In fact, they did, in a manner of speaking. Your, sister came to find me.
Ronnie? Oh.
I could tell she must have realized what that interaction had been like.
Are you alright?
It wasn't that big a deal. She was just... I don't know.
You sure? She didn't... It was really okay.
She was fine, I suppose. Though I can't deny our interaction was a little odd.
Veronica has an unusual way of looking at things. It happens when you spend that much time in the future instead of the present, I guess. It becomes an obsession. The possibilities, the right path. Because you see what might have been, sometimes you can't let it go. Even if we try to push things to the best possible path, it doesn't always work that way. There are too many variables, too many things outside our control. So when you don't get the best outcome, you get stuck on what could have been done differently.
Sounds like Ronnie's everyday life is a visual novel, picking choices to try to get the best outcome.
It's a struggle to not be like that, and I guess some of us just shut our feelings off to protect ourselves. It's the only way to keep from losing your mind when you lose the battle against future possibilities.
That aligned with how she acted, I suppose. Her obsession with the future and what was coming. Me being at the center of something big. I didn't like the idea of that.
Look, Leone. I know you don't like me or whatever, but take my word for this. Don't get caught up in all that future crap. You do that, and all that happens is you miss the moments in front of you. The future will get here when it gets here. The past, though, when it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back.
You can say some good things sometimes, can't you? I think Lethe needs to hear that one more than me, but some good words.
He is logical when he wishes to be.
Aww, Kale's so cute when he waxes philosophical.
All of you can shut the hell up right now if you want.
What if I don't want to?
What then? We gonna take it down to the training room again like last time? Last time I broke your arm, if you recall.
You broke her arm?
The fake one. Because it was her arm or my face.
Ah. Whoa, what is that? Zizzletan? Zyzelton? Also sometimes spelled Zyzeltan? This is a metallic glass made of zinc. I think we actually did read about this maybe in Ari's Fruit? It was a long time ago. Silicon and titanium that is used for many advanced cybernetic prosthetics. It is also used as one of the base materials for neo-human skeletal and muscular structures, as well as many of their organs. This alloy is lightweight and has both high tensile strength and resilience, making it an excellent choice for a variety of uses in multiple fields.
And no offense to Vaughn, but her arm can be fixed easier than my face. Neither of them knows when to quit. Don't be alarmed. Most of us are far more reasonable when sparring.
Sure, right. Endgame has definitely proved to be a bastion of reason during my brief stay. Good grief, these people were mad! But, as we sat there, I did find myself laughing with them after a while, and feeling at least a little better. Especially when Vaughn left only to return with gifts. Ostensibly to welcome me. Something she said they should have done before. It didn't occur to them until Magnus mentioned they hadn't done it. Ah, he mentioned it again. Not that they had to do it either way, but it was a nice gesture. There were frustrating things about this place and annoying people, but there were good ones too. That was something to hold on to. It wasn't a terrible way to end the day.